Welcome, double dumbasses, to Geek Salad's Retro Movie Reviews from the Geek Salad Podcast. I'm Andy.
I'm Mike.
And we are back to boldly go where no man has gone before. As we continue our look at Star Trek with Star Trek IV, The Voyage Home. Now, Mike, I know this is your favorite Star Trek movie, right? Top three I think this is top three for me.
I think for most people it's going to be top three.
Yeah. It's an interesting thing because if nothing else, it does something that they had never attempted in Star Trek before in a realistic manner.
Yeah.
I mean, I know we've had like they're going off to some planet, which is like essentially emulating Earth in the 1940s or something like that. But
I mean, they do time travel in a couple of the original episodes, but they've never really been like spent almost the entire episode just kind of walking around a modern city,
getting used to used to the 20th century.
Yeah. What I think this movie has most going for it though is that it feels like a universal appeal movie. It's like it's a movie that you in order to understand everything you kind of have to watch 2 and 3.
Yeah.
But on its own though, it feels like a movie that anybody can get into, whether they're a Star Trek fan or not. It's just a fun movie all the way around.
Yeah, I'm actually pulling up the grosses for all of these movies. And it appears actually that Star Trek IV is the 6th highest grossing Star Trek film. And considering, I don't know if they're adjusting the numbers or not, the dollars or not.
But yeah,
the three Kelvin films, Into Darkness, Star Trek, and Beyond, are in top 1, 2, and 3. Then First Contact, then the motion picture, then Voyage Home.
Although my thought would be this might be not the highest grossing, but the most net grossing, because this one pulled in like 144 on a $26 million, 133 on a $26 million budget. I can guarantee the Kelvin Star Trek episodes movies have a lot higher budgets.
Yes, yeah. Globally, Star Trek IV grossed $133 million, which is pretty good, especially in 1986 dollars.
Yeah.
Yeah. The interesting thing about this movie too is that even though it's part of the Captain's Collection, the series of the 3 interconnected movies, it almost feels like it's barely connected to them. I mean, we're still on Vulcan, so we have that direct continuation.
The beginning is connected and the ending is connected.
Right.
But from the point where they leave Vulcan to the point where they go on trial at the end, that's really kind of standalone right there. You really need. I mean, the only references you get is McCoy is constantly badgering Spock about him not being fully there.
Right, exactly, and that's kind of like the reminder that Spock is still kind of getting his the human side of him back.
Yeah. This is also I've seen this movie so many times.
Yeah.
But the dialogue is still so funny. I laughed out loud so many times at this movie.
Well, I think that because it's a movie, it affords them the ability to play more so with the dialogue, to have a more fun. I mean, the whole thing about the colorful euphemisms is always a great bit. I remember the first time I saw this movie, I was watching it with my mother's old boyfriend Tom, and they're talking about the colorful metaphors in the works of Susan Sontag and Harold Robbins, and then Spock goes, yes, the giants. And I remember hearing that, and Tom was just on the floor because it was just The delivery is one thing, but the fact that in the future, Susan Sontag and Harold Robbins, who just like crap out books, it was a pretty clever joke.
And just the whole like, do you like Italian? Yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, yes.
Yes, yeah, yes.
I love Italian, and so do you. Yes.
Yeah, it was nice because this is the first time we've really had a good, like, just to get Kirk and Spock alone together on a mission was really fun.
And it was also like, it was kind of fun to see members of the crew that like don't have a whole lot of interaction actually kind of be put together. I mean, we got McCoy and Scotty.
Oh yeah.
And then you had Uhura and Chekhov finding the Enterprise with their nuclear vessels. And
then you had Sulu with like oh my god, I forgot he was looking for a helicopter.
He had some fun bits with when they were finding the yellow pages at the beginning though.
Oh yeah.
I did hear some behind the scenes stuff of this. Like so many shots. Like there's a moment where when they're just walking through San Francisco.
Yeah.
And Sulu looks into a shop window.
Yeah.
I guess at some point, like during one of the takes, there was like a woman in there, and she saw the guy, and just actually she lifted her shirt. And but unfortunately, that kind of blew the whole take. So then when they did it, when they finally got the shot, she wasn't there anymore.
Okay. Sorry, lady. It has no effect on me. Yeah, you know what was also nice too is seeing Chekhov do something fun.
Yeah.
And really playing with the accent was fantastic.
Oh yeah, I mean the whole interrogation scene it's so short, but it's so much fun.
The funny thing is also it's funny that like Uhura and Sulu don't really have like that run-in with ancient tech the way that everybody else seemed to, between Scotty, who would have destroyed that Mac.
Oh yeah,
he would have absolutely destroyed that Mac, because my mother had one of those, and that thing had the processing power of a hamster. It was terrible, and he's just like whipping away on the.
Another thing I did love about this, I because this time while Scotty's trying to use the computer, I was actually watching McCoy. He's like, because McCoy hands him the mouse and the computer, and McCoy's actually just looking like, okay, what you? Nothing. Yeah.
Back when Apple had the ability to do this with a mouse.
Yeah. Oh, I had an Apple IIc. I had one of those mice with just the one button.
What do I do? And then, the whole thing with McCoy in the hospital. And just the fact that medicine has just so greatly improved.
He calls it medievalism.
Oh, yeah, the medievalism of going on kidney dialysis. Or they were going to drill a hole in Chekhov's head to relieve the pressure.
Yeah. It was also great that the fact that they've had there were several episodes of the original series where there really doesn't end up being a villain. But for the most part, the movies, there have been, V'ger is some sort of villain.
V'ger is the obstacle they have to get around. In this, there's a lot of just circumstantial obstacles they need to get around, Yeah, I mean, then you've got the probe, which may as well just have been, V'ger 9.
Yeah. I mean, the biggest villains were probably the fishermen, the harpoon, the whalers.
Yep. And they were just doing what whalers do, hunt humpback whales into extinction. And that was the interesting thing too, that this was the first Star Trek movie that really, had a timely environmental message to it. I remember there was a big deal back in '86 because it had kind of deviated from the course, but it didn't affect the movie at all because the movie actually did really, really well.
Yeah.
In fact, the media blitz for this movie was something I don't think I had seen for a Star Trek film before. It all culminates into the classic William Shatner appearance on Saturday Night Live.
Oh, was that during this time?
That was 86. I remember it specifically. It is one of their greatest episodes and one of their greatest seasons ever. And yeah, the whole Get a Life. Which, I mean, that was the name of his biography.
Really?
Yeah, Get a Life.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's always had an interesting relationship with the fans.
I agree. And with this character. I mean, I feel like as an actor, it's great to have something that you're known for. At the same time, it's weird. It's like he wants to do other things, and then they, like in Generations, they kill him off, and then he kind of, by way of the Star Trek novel he wrote, rat fucks himself back into the universe, only to die in a more satisfactory way than slipping on an intergalactic banana peel. The scaffolding fell on me.
Sorry, my cat decided that he didn't want to come in, but then he started yowling until I let him in. So.
Oh, good Lord! Yep, that's me every morning at like 4:30. But yeah, I thought that the one thing I didn't care for as much in this movie, and it's mainly because it instantly dates the movie, is the score. I mean, I think I've made jokes before. It sounds like the theme to Night Court.
I see. This is. I mean, yeah, it doesn't hold a candle to the Horner #2 score, but at the same time, it's for a very, very different movie than 2. So
right.
For me, this score is absolutely pitch perfect. I love this score. It's playful when it needs to be. It's serious when it needs to be. I love this score so much.
Yeah, it was Leonard Rossum. This is the first time that they didn't really have like a top shelf composer do the score, because they had Jerry Goldsmith and they had James Horner.
Yeah, I don't even know what else this guy has done.
I have it up on IMDb. I can tell you. Let me actually go to composing here, because he was on the music department for a whole lot of stuff. 119 things. He died in 2008. I'm just looking right now to see what other movies he'd done.
Oh wow,
he did music for RoboCop 2.
He did 2 of the lesser Planet of the Apes movies.
He did Body Wars. He did the music for Body Wars.
Oh, the Star Trek. I mean
at Epcot.
Yeah. Oh wow.
Yeah. He did some music for Amazing Stories. I'm just trying to see if there's anything like huge.
Barry Lyndon, Academy Award.
Oh, he won an Academy Award for that?
Barry Lyndon received 7 nominations at the 40th, including Best Picture, winning 4 for Best Score, Original Score. So yeah, he is. He's actually a 2-time Academy Award winner and 1-time Emmy winner.
Interesting. Okay.
So yeah, not so cheesy soundtrack now, is he?
Yeah, no. Yeah, he was nominated for this movie, for Star Trek. Bound for Glory, and nominated for Cross Creek, and then Barry Lyndon. Yeah. So interesting. Yeah. I'm trying to think what else I could say about this movie. It is kind of nice to have that break from kind of like the serious tones of both 2 and 3.
Yeah.
I mean,
in 2 you had the death of Spock.
Yeah.
And the absolute torture of Chekhov.
Right.
3 you had the death of David and the destruction of the Enterprise.
Yep.
And so you wanted something to just kind of end the trilogy on a higher note, and boom, we got it. You got Return of the Jedi.
Yeah, and it was kind of nice too to bring them back to, the Enterprise.
Yeah.
That was a great way of capping it off.
1701A.
Yes. Well, what's funny too with that is that when they're showing the footage of Kirk destroying the film, and they just repurpose the movie footage, fortunately without the score. And then there's that shot of it like sailing through space with the saucer is completely blown out. I'm like, where was that camera?
My headcanon for that is they got the footage. They Kirk sent the footage from the Klingon Bird of Prey.
Okay. Oh, we have a message. We already did Star Trek 5. We did it last year. Go back.
Yeah. Sorry, Kurt. Yeah, you already missed it.
Yeah. Sorry,
wipe up your mouth.
Yeah. It's oh. Well, go back and watch it. We are not fond of it, and that's kind of the thing that kills me about. They found. I feel like with this movie, they found the formula that worked. And the same. I think the same thing should go with Star Trek 2. Where they found that balance that you can do high drama, you can also do fun comedy, and then to kind of swing it back where no lessons were learned for 5, and 5 is essentially just a 2-hour-long episode.
Yeah, well, I mean, unfortunately, this movie kind of set the stage for 5 because they had Leonard Nimoy did such a great job with 3 that the studio was like, okay, well, here, go ahead and do 4, do whatever you want. He had got a co-story credit with that.
Yeah,
but of course, Shatner was like, wait. My contract says whatever he can do, I can do better. All right, so I get the next movie.
Yeah.
Is it really? Okay. All right.
It wasn't. Yeah.
And then we saw how that turned out.
Yeah, I mean, 6 is it feels like a bit of a return to form, especially because they got Nicholas Meyer to come back for it.
Yeah.
But really, what's that?
One interesting thing I heard about Nicholas Meyer, the reason why he didn't direct Star Trek 3 is because he got pissed at the studio. The closing shot of Star Trek 2, the pan over Genesis and showing the space tube, Nicholas Meyer didn't direct that. He didn't even know it was going to be in the movie.
Oh.
They just wanted something to possibly lead into Star Trek 3.
Right,
and
right. He thought it was open and shut.
Yeah, so they filmed that, and he's like, "Are you fucking kidding me? No, I'm out." But I guess they patched things up in order to get him back for 6.
Yeah, exactly. 9 years later, they get him back for 6. It's interesting too because it really is that 1-2 punch of Meyer and then Nimoy.
Yeah.
Who really? I mean, he's really good at this.
Yeah.
The interesting too with 86 is, if I'm not mistaken, 86 was also the year that Next Generation premiered. So I think that
86 or 87.
I'm double checking right now because I remember it came out right around that time.
Yeah. I'll let you look it up.
Yeah, I'm looking it up. Go ahead. Speak more.
Oh yeah, a couple of fun little cameos. I guess Majel Barrett Roddenberry was going to have a larger role.
Yeah.
But most of it ended up on the editing room floor, so it was cut down to like basically one line.
Yeah.
Got Grace Lee Whitney was back. She had a speaking line in that opening in that scene where the probe gets to Earth as well. And on the when they're after they bracing the window, and then it pans over and you see like a screen and you see a kind of an oddly haired looking young woman on the screen?
Yeah.
That's Jane Wheadland.
Yeah, I know, from the Go-Go's. I was just going to bring that
and,
up.
From Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, of course.
Yeah. And Clue.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
I just looked it up. So, yes, Next Generation actually came out in 87.
Okay.
Which makes sense because I have a feeling that it was in response, even though there has always been like a Star Trek TV series in the works, I think that 4 really gave them that shot of adrenaline to say, let's go do this.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that also meant that Roddenberry got much more control over Star Trek, and that's why the first couple of seasons of Next Generation aren't that great, because Roddenberry was much more in depth controlling it.
Right. Yep, things got better when Riker got the beard.
Yeah, when Riker got the beard, and when what was it? What was the guy that did Battlestar Galactica?
Ronald Moore?
Yeah. When Ronald Moore got into the writing room, things started picking up for it.
Yeah. That's something I just haven't watched that, quite honestly, since it went off the air. So maybe I'm going to return back to it some juncture.
That's one I like. I got through like the first season and a half.
Yeah.
It just got like so dark and kind of grim that I fell off of it.
Yeah. What was interesting about like the releases of Star Trek, when they started putting Next Generation out on video, they did them out of order. So you would have to, like, they would put out specific episodes, like 1 or 2 episodes at a time, and that's when you got. I remember the big deal was they were holding off until First Contact to release the those Borg episodes, the Locutus episodes.
Yeah, I remember I managed to get one of my favorite episodes, which was Next Phase.
Yeah.
That was the one where Ro and Geordi kind of become ghosts. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, but anyway, back to Star Trek 4.
Yes.
Yeah, this is an enjoyable movie. It is definitely more fun than a lot of the stuff that comes after it.
Yeah.
I hesitate to say it's probably the most fun we're going to get until 2009. Dare I say?
Yeah, I mean, it's
say what you will about those next generation movies. They're not fun.
No, I mean, First Contact is the best one of it, but it's not fun at all. Whenever you bring in the Borg, it tends to be more serious and less fun.
Well, it has to be. It's the horror installment of.
Yeah. The Borg are basically body horror.
Yeah. But yeah, I feel like this movie definitely is held up well. Again, the only thing I feel dates it is the music,
which I love.
Yeah, it's funny too. Did you watch Man Thing? Not Man Thing. Did you watch Werewolf by Night?
Yes.
On Disney Plus.
Yes.
One of the guys who was there, he was the first. He was like Man Thing's kind of first kill.
Mm-hmm.
The big guy.
Yeah.
That was the punk on the bus.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. He also that song that he's listening to.
Yeah.
He actually performed that with some friends of his.
Oh, nice. No, I hate you, and I say screw you.
And I believe, I haven't seen it, but I think there's an episode of either Discovery or Strange New Worlds where he actually comes back as that same character.
Nice.
I don't have Paramount Plus, so I haven't watched any of that. But
I have it sporadically, depending on when my stepfather's Old Man Cop shows are on.
You know what? I really like Gillian Anderson. Not Gillian Anderson. Gillian is the character.
Catherine Hicks.
Thank you. I really like her in this movie, and I also like the fact that it's like a love interest for Kirk, but it's not really love interest.
Right. Yeah, she goes off and does her own thing. She's got agency. The whales are in a different time now, and so is she.
Yeah, and the whales are her primary goal. Her primary goal is not to get into Kirk's pants.
Right,
Her primary goal is to watch over the whales.
Yeah.
And
Kirk gets like remarkably unlaid in these movies.
Yeah. I also like the fact that they actually like show how like emotional she gets over the whale. Like she genuinely cares for these animals.
Yeah, exactly. And I love that bit where she's driving Kirk and Spock, and Spock's just like, Gracie is pregnant, and just slams on the brakes.
Yeah, I guess they hired her because Nimoy invited her to go out to dinner with her and Shatner, and Shatner and her just had such great chemistry.
Yeah,
that they're like, yeah, you got the part.
Yeah, no, she was really good in it. Good. It's also good for the one-off that it needed to be.
Yeah, I think she appeared in a Star Trek comic later on, but
okay,
like her appearances in the Star Trek universe are pretty much non-existent.
Yeah, exactly. And if that comic came out anytime around the time DC was doing the Star Trek series, they're awful. They're awful comic books.
No, I think it came out in like mid 2000s, honestly.
Oh, okay. Yeah, if you ever find the 80s Star Trek comic book by DC, it's dreadful.
I'll take your word for it.
Yeah, you're gonna have to. Yeah, overall, it's a fine movie.
I love this movie.
Again, I think that out of the original crew, Wrath of Khan is still my favorite.
For me, it's kind of like a Dark Knight Iron Man situation. Do I think Wrath of Khan is a better movie? 100%.
Yeah.
Would I rather watch Star Trek 4 every day of the week?
Yeah. Things be like that sometimes.
Yeah, the earworms just they kill it.
Yeah, I understand that. And there's the weird thing about this movie is there's nothing gross in this movie. There's nothing like it's also got a very low casualty rate. In fact, I don't believe there's any casualties at all in it.
The only gross part for me is actually the footage that they show at the aquarium of the whales being skinned.
Oh, yeah. That was archival footage. They didn't shoot any of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's well worth your time. It's on MGM Plus and it's on Paramount Plus. So definitely check it out.
I owned it on Amazon Prime, so that's how I watched it.
Yes, it is. Well, I own the Blu-rays for the Captain's Collection.
As do I. They're like they're literally right here.
Yeah.
Well, right underneath. Yeah.
So it's a fantastic movie. Had a great time watching it. Excuse me.
Bless you.
Thank you. Fucking allergies. So anyway, that is Star Trek 4: The Voyage Home. Next week we wrap up, and we've got a pretty fun one. Actually, might be my second favorite Star Trek movie, where we're actually going to delve into the Kelvinverse and talk a little bit about Star Trek 2009.
Yeah, I haven't watched this one in a while, actually, so it'd be nice to get a refresh of it.
It's the last time I watched it was a few years ago with my kids, and they just didn't get Star Trek.
Yeah.
I can kind of bring, I can talk about this part because I don't really want to review the movie right now, but there was a Teen Titans Go episode where Robin wanted to have a space adventure. So everybody else on the team thinks that they're going to go do Star Wars battle, and instead he wants to do the slow moving, naval ships of Star Trek, where he sits in a chair and has everybody, tells everybody else to do everything.
Yeah, it's pretty much on par.
Yeah. So we're going to be talking about Star Trek 2009 next week. So let us know in the comments, what are your thoughts on Star Trek 4? Where does this rank in your overall Star Trek rankings? Leave that polite comment below. Also, give us a big thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't done so already. If you want to rate us 5 stars, for the love of God, please. That goes for our podcast, Geek Salad Podcast, which you can get anywhere you get your podcast. If you're going to rate it, give it 5 stars on iTunes because it's the only one that apparently counts. Speaking of which, there will be a new episode out for the weekend.
Yay!
It's been edited, it's been scheduled, and now I like to release them on the weekends. So you'll get that Friday morning, actually.
Everyone's working for the weekend.
Yes. Everybody needs a new romance. And so if you want to follow us, we are also on the socials at Geek Salad Podcast on Facebook, Geek Salad Radio at Twitter, Blue Sky, and Threads. And check out all of the archives. Like I know Kurt's going to be doing immediately after he gets off from watching this, so he can watch our review of Star Trek V, which is just goddamn awful. Yeah, so check that out, as well as all of our other Star Trek and other movie reviews. We do this every week, so check that out. So anyway, until next time, I'm Andy.
I'm Mike.
Go forth and be nerdful. And live long and prosper. We'll talk to you later.